There was a $530 million lie behind the label. Let me ask you something. If someone walked up to you in a clean, sharp suit and they dropped names like Ann Taylor and Express confidently and then promised you the future of fashion, would you believe them? Would you invest? Would you sign on? Would you think twice? Because that's how $530 million disappeared. Not overnight, not in one dramatic scandal, but slowly, quietly, brilliantly. It was marketed out of existence, wrapped in sleek logos and startup jargon. And most people still don't have no idea what happened. Today, we're not just retelling the story of collapse. We're exposing one of the biggest financial scams that's disguised as innovation. What it teaches about trust, hype, and the cost of ignoring red flags. Not just for drama, but for the wake-up call. Because if they fooled venture capitalists, brands, and other professionals, then what's stopping them from fooling you? But before we jump in, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, because this is about to get good. The pitch was perfect. In the mid-2010s, Silicon Valley is the promised land. Investors are throwing money at anything with an app and a confident founder. They don't want safe, they want scale, story, sizzle. And right in the middle of that boom came CaaStle, a fashion tech startup pitching a bold idea. Don't buy clothes, you rent them. Just like Spotify, but for your closet. Christine Hunsicker, the founder and CEO, was no rookie. She had credibility, connections, and charisma. She spoke the language of disruption fluently. Sustainability, reoccurring revenue, and tech-enabled logistics. The brand was clean and the story was compelling. And the investors, all in. Big dog retailers like Ann Taylor, Express, and Lane Bryant all partnered with them. Venture capitalists took all the money from their couch cushions and poured all in. And CaaStle's valuation? It soared hundreds of millions. And from the outside, it looked like revolution in retail. But behind that cute pitch deck and polished branding, the numbers were already unraveling. When growth is a performance, here's what you didn't see in the headlines. CaaStle was bleeding cash. The logistics model was expensive and customer churn was high. The inventory management was messy and complex. But instead of slowing down and fixing the core problem, they leaned harder on optics. They inflated revenue projections, buried their operational losses, and dressed up their financials. Flawless in public, but falling apart in private. The leadership knew how to tell a story that was irresistible. They didn't just pitch a company, they performed a fantasy. Investors believed it, employees bought in, and customers kept renting, right until the cracks couldn't be covered up anymore. The people who paid the price. Let's imagine for a second that you're one of the employees working for CaaStle. You're not at the top. You're mid-level, working 60+ hours a week, and you're believing you're building the future of fashion. You're telling your friends and family how proud you are. You plan your future around the stock options that you own, a future you think that you're earning. Then one day, the emails stop, the headlines start, and the truth hits. The company wasn't just failing, it was faking it. And your stock, completely worthless. And your efforts are used to keep the illusion alive. And your trust, completely exploited. Or imagine you're an investor, maybe managing your grandma's money. This could be grandma's life savings, or even managing someone else's money, like a pension or an endowment. You ran the numbers and asked the right questions, but then all the answers were a lie. When it all fell apart, the collapse came quick, but it wasn't random. Retailers started pulling out, employees left or were laid off without notice, and the lawsuits began stacking up. And the deeper that the investigators dug, the worse that it looked. Revenue was exaggerated, and the accounting practices was deceptive. Trust was completely destroyed, and then in a few months, CaaStle vanished. The website, partnerships, and PR-friendly mission, gone. And with it, over $530 million. No wind down or public apology, just silence. The dangerous power of a good story. See, that's the danger of a well-told lie. We all love the underdog founder story. We root for the disruptor. And we're all trained to celebrate the pitch before the product. And CaaStle knew that. That is literally manipulation and deception in plain sight. And they didn't just sell a business, but they sold a belief. And while they were talking about changing the world, they were really changing their numbers behind the scenes. And that wasn't the future of fashion. What got left behind? Hundreds of employees without work. Most of them had nothing to show for. Retail partners scrambling to rebuild trust and operations. And venture capitalist firms writing some of their most embarrassing losses to date. And Christine Hunsicker, no accountability, no closure. What this means for you. If you're an entrepreneur watching this, let me be very blunt with you. Growth is not worth your integrity, and there's no metric worth faking. I don't care how much money you smell on that investor. And the hype that you chase today will charge you interest tomorrow. If you're an investor, then don't fall in love with the founder. Unless it's me, then you can. I'm only kidding, but fall in love with the fundamentals. Forget the buzzword, but take a look at the books and ask questions that make people uncomfortable, because comfort is where deception thrives. CaaStle isn't just another startup failure. It's a warning label, because money talks, but if we don't listen, we'll just keep getting scammed in better packaging. If this video has helped you see through the noise, then do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and drop a comment. Which financial scandal would you like us to cover next? We post twice a week so that you can protect your money, your time, and your future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.